Okay, welcome back, everyone. So, in last video, I downloaded the Obfuscation tool, talked about it a little bit. We're now going to try and reproduce this attack, maybe with some modifications, but ultimately building out the obfuscated payload. And future videos, I'm going to walk through weaponizing a document and do that from there. So with that, I kind of did a few things out of the way, like cloning the repo for invoke obfuscation. And here's some preliminary steps. So one thing I noticed when playing with this, I didn't permanently import the module. I'll have to read up on doing that with Powershell. But what I noticed is each time I open a new Windows session, not login, but specifically the Powershell session or command session, I had to import the module. So I'm already at the step where I'm about to do that. You have to, of course, get PowerShell running first. I went into the directory the invoke obfuscation tools in, and the next step you have to do is import the module, and that's with the import-module command. And then you're going to import the PS or run it on the PSD1 script. So now that we've already done that, and it didn't take long to run. So now I'm going to run the invoke obfuscation tool. Give it a second. And there we go. So now we're in the shell for it. It's got a cool bunch of menus. It's a pretty cool framework. So this up here, I kind of looked through it. Oh, probably shouldn't drop things on the keyboard. This right here, I looked through. It's just kind of them demonstrating the tool obfuscate with obfuscated output, and it's deobfuscated down to say that, which will do this. So right host, what it's saying, and then the foreground color green. There you go. Kind of cool. More into what we're gonna do with this tool. So now that we're in here. One thing I noticed, and maybe this is just me only seeing a handful of frameworks like Metasploit, or specifically the MSF console, Recon NG, and I think there's a couple other ones like PowerShell and Pyre that do the same thing, where they have this neat framework that that has a bunch of pre-baked menus set up for with options, things like that. So let's go through some of the commands. So the tutorial, pretty self-explanatory. So it looks like we need to load a script block or set a path for it. And I've got a script already put together. You see it right here. I'll get to that in a second. And then we can run this command locally, copy and clip the obfuscate command to a clipboard, or reset and start all over. So now we have that. What else do we have? Help. Just takes us back to that. Let's see. Show options. What do we give it that? Okay, so here we are. So right here, it looks like all the options we set here are going to be how the command works. So the way a lot of these frameworks works is you'll set the options for it. And for something like Metasploit, for instance, you'll set all the different options, like it might be an IP, a port, or certain type of payload, like when using MSF Venom. And don't worry, there's plenty more videos ahead. We're gonna go through all that stuff, but for now, let's focus on this. So one thing I notice is you'll set a bunch of options. You'll run commands for what you want in the payload. Then you run the payload, and it'll spit out your output with however something's encoded and all that stuff. So with this, let's see what we have here. Obfuscate entire command is string. Obfuscate entire command is encoding. So we can obfuscate it by a string of encoding. Let's see what encoding has. Might help if I spell right. Okay, so we have these different. Let's do this. I like reading from the top. So let's see. Obfuscating command is a token. AST nodes, string, via encoding. So, okay, and then down here, now we have the different types of encoding. So we can obfuscate it as ASCII, hex, octal binary, secure string, BXOR. Gee, doesn't that sound familiar? It should, because that's what we did originally. Over here, I have a script I'm going to use. I basically pieced together line by line the original obfuscated code from here. Whoops. From here, or deobfuscated code. So all that ended up being deobfuscated, and in short, in a few lines, these are the commands that more or less put out. This variable right here is for the URLs we're using. I threw a few in here to recreate it. This is similar to the original script. You can find that on my blog. And if you notice, just like in the script, I have these separators right here, that little @ sign. And let's see, let's go to that. So, and then that's where it splits it, just like the original script. And down here, what it looks like it's doing, just like with the other one where it pulled down executables, I changed that option to pull down .text, and I'm experimenting here where I also have one pulling down for PDFs. And a couple of those links in there have a PDF or text file in. These are all public things, so it's all wide open. You arguably do the same thing when you get those same files through a GET request or going to the site. I just searched for a PDF file from something public facing, like a school, like all documentation they may have. So we're gonna see if this downloads that. I don't know if it'll run it, but that'll be interesting to see. We have that option, or it's a start process. So we'll see how this goes as we go. This script is going to be what we're going to use in the end. Let's get back to invoke obfuscation real quick. I'm going to need that path. So let's go back. So let's see. Options. Oops. Okay, so set script path. We're going to find out if it's case sensitive too. Users off top. Okay, cool. So we got that set in there. Let's see. Encoding. Choosing one of the options below, encoding options to apply to current payload. Let's see. Encoding 6. Invalid option, enter help for more information. Valid options 6. Let's try 6, see what happens. Okay. Interesting. Apply the current payload. Executed 6. What did it do? I see red. And in case you didn't know about PowerShell, red is not necessarily a good thing. It usually indicates an error. So exception calling new script block with one argument, line 15, character 17. That might be because I've got that part commented out, and it could be confusing it. So let's see. Wait. New script line 15, 17. It is referring to that. So let's do this. We're going to remove this second part. And stick that in there. All right. C6. Let's try encoding it now. 6. Okay. What do we have? Let's see. Okay. Script block. Interesting. Wait a second. Now, all right. Let's see, obfuscated command, obfuscation length, command line syntax. Ah, okay. There's something wrong with the syntax of this payload. Let's try taking out those semicolons. Maybe that's doing something, because this is all running on one line at one point. And if not, I'll just flip this all back up and put it on one line. There we go. All right, now let's try it. Let's see. Script block, script path. It looks like as I make changes, it didn't notice I removed the semicolon, so maybe I have to redo this. Okay. Let's see, did it change it? Okay, it modified it, good. And command line syntax. Oh, cool. Let's see, what do we have here? Oh. Okay, that's telling me to run there. Let's try this. Encoding 6. I want to encode it in 6. That's the XOR. Okay, taking a little longer. Ah, there we go. Cool. It did it. So we have payload now. And this looks very familiar. Let's go to the original script and see what we have. Okay. There's that. Let's go to command. Oops. Okay, PowerShell string join. Oh, there we go. So the one thing I noticed is I didn't see an option to set which BXOR or BXOR key I was going to use. So it looks like it's using OX3D, and then it's piping it to something else. I didn't catch that either. Interesting. So we have a payload already. What next? Two characters. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Let's see. Now, sure. Let's try obfuscate command R launch techniques. Launcher. Let's just try PowerShell. Let's see. Options. Okay, so here's what we have in our options right now. This is the path. This is the script block. And then we have the okay. Command line syntax. This is it running the command. This is a really cool tool. I gotta say, this is really cool. Okay, we've got our payload. Length 1556. If you're familiar with byte lengths, as I've been studying buffer overflow in my spare time, he says. So let's see. Standard input. I'm gonna read through some more of this, but I really like this already. This is gonna be a cool new toy. All right, launcher. Now what? Launcher. Do I need to do that from there? PS non-interactive 2. Let's try doing that. 2. Okay, so as you enter each command, like launcher, or the other ones like launcher, then you go to 2, and let's do that. Ah, okay. So each submenu you go into, you have to enter that set of commands. Okay, that's cool. So do it. No execution flags, non-interactive. Let's try 8. Path 32-bit PowerShell. Inner strength numbers, desired flags, pass function. Let's see. Non-interactive, so 2. And we're gonna go execution policy. Might want to have that off. and 8. Okay. Apply to the current payload, enter string numbers. Okay. Let's see. Did it update the options? Okay, so what do we have here? Execute a command. Pass through non-interactive. 1588. Change the length. Compress. Okay. Let's see. Okay, and here we go. So we do have a payload. I'm cutting out running. I'm running short on time, so what I'm going to do is do a part 2 of this. But for now, we've made it this far. In the next video, I'm going to just cut to the chase and see what we do get with this payload, copying it and saving it. And for that, I wanted to say thanks to, once again, Daniel Wilhannon for putting this awesome tool together, and people that have been watching and taking interest in my videos as I go. I know they're a bit short in terms of volume of videos. Been kind of busy dealing with some allergy issues. TLDR, you don't need to worry about it. More videos to come. Until then, cheers.